Hey everybody, welcome back. This is another take your kids to work day for me. ¿Verdad que sí, Gael? Saluda, diles hi. And so I'm hoping everybody got a good mental break from spring break, and I hope that you and your loved ones are doing well. Before we get into this, recapping the last 2 weeks and previewing our current week, I'm going to step onto my soapbox, and I'll be honest with you, this is the message that came from Dr. Green, and I just kind of want to make sure I share the same one because I definitely feel the same way. As we move further into virtual education, I personally am finding it extremely interesting how different districts are approaching what is going on. I'm also finding it interesting in reading the tips and the guidelines that are shared on social media and in other venues. I know it's easy to get frustrated, and that being critical on social media and in other venues, might not be the most constructive way. And honestly, I do check myself because I feel this way, and so it's really hard for me. And what's my point in sharing this? Well, I'm a graduate of your program. I'm teaching in your program, but I believe that you all are in a great position because you have 523, the distance education course under your belt, and you have experienced what it's like to actually learn at a distance. With 523, you explored and read the research on distance education. With 511, you explored how to critically read and analyze research, and these skills are highly important right now. You are all in a great position to do great things for your district because of what you know and have experienced. Although we need to take our direction from our schools and our districts and our principals, I believe that we can and we should use this time to be bold and creative. Literally, what if your guidelines aren't there, what can you do to move a little bit further, move the meter a little bit further. We don't have state testing, we don't have ADA, so just push the boundaries. And but with all that said, I know that you might have your own constraints with the family. I got this one here right now who's angry at me because I promised I was going to give him ice cream. But like I see, baby. And then I have I have two other ones right now running around and ready to come crashing in the door. So I know it's hard, and I'm not trying to give you extra work. But that's it, off my soapbox. So let's do a quick recap of what we've done so far in our course. Week one was putting together your team and getting organized. The teams determined what type of software to create. Week two was about creating the planning documents that need the different elements. Make sure that you've taken all my feedback. You also met with me, or you're going to be meeting with me this next week. This week, you're going to be just making sure you focus on the analysis section, the learner analysis, task analysis, all of that type of stuff all of that stuff that I was already pushing with you this past week and the week before we took off. And all the guidelines or the examples for that are in Dr. Zeddy's class. And let's see, by the end of this week, everybody should have met with me. We're going to be looking at the document and the analysis and going through some summative feedback now. So all the little bits of feedback I gave you now, we're just kind of to get you going. Now we're really just going to break it all down. And then in the discussion this week, your team's going to share the analysis section with other teams and get formative feedback. I'm available to meet with your team again if you need to. You don't have to. And then as we look into the design phase, please, let's see, recognize that you're going to be doing your storyboarding, and the storyboarding is kind of a difficult process because sometimes it requires you to be more artistic, but with that said, it doesn't have to be. So again, look at the examples that I've given you in Dr. Eddie's class. You're going to use your task analysis to create your storyboard. You're going to see how things build up on each other as we move along each week. And then if your team is ready to move to this phase, please check in with your client or with myself before getting too far along. Some reminders: there's a presentation to listen or read along with with a chapter from Alessi and Trollope about general features of educational software. There's highly important elements your teams need to consider as you design your software. You do have an individual team member check-in by the end of this week. And if everything is good to go, you're cool to keep moving along and you don't have to meet with me this week. So yeah, that's a lot, I know. Kind of just soak it in, reach out if you have any questions. I look forward to hearing from you. And if you've got like some cool projects that you've been doing online, share them with me. And I'd love to, kind of blast them out there to the world for you. Thank you and have a great week. Yes, bye.